Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. Today we are talking Discovery Season 3, Episode 12. There is a tide. I'm with my usual co-host and fellow Trekkie, Cousin Cheeto. How you doing, my friend?
Happy New Year, my friend. It is currently 2021. He is broadcasting to us in America from the future.
Yes, I am in the future because I am in 2021. And Roberto over there, he's in
I'm still stuck in
2020.
2020.
Amazing, huh? I love being in the future right now. Right now, 2020 is in the rearview mirror, mate. It's really good to know that you're still in 2020 suffering for another 5 hours, I believe.
4 hours and 45 minutes. Thank you very much.
Well, it warms my heart for some reason knowing that. But let's just continue, shall we? All right. So I have to say that whenever I see an episode directed by Jonathan Frakes, I know I'm going to be in for a good time. I mean, it brings a smile to my face. Directed by Jonathan Frakes. So yeah, baby, this is going to be good. And you know what? This episode was good. We start off with Osira, and she uses Discovery to breach Starfleet because she's under the guise of Discovery being attacked by her own ship. She then she then tries to erase some of the data, but she does fail with some of the spare data left remaining in the system, which you can kind of obviously tell because it's playing some of the vintage footage of the early 19th century. But nevertheless, they don't know that and they don't mind it either, so they just forget about it. We also see the return of the cowboy from episode 2 of this season. I forgot his name, but I'm calling him the cowboy, and we know who the cowboy is. He also shows off his frostburnt hand when he was let go to survive for himself. Meanwhile, the Admiral is trying to make sense of all this shit happening because on his senses and stuff like that, he realizes Discovery is coming in at pace and he believes they're being maybe attacked by Osira, but he's not 100% sure. We then cut and jump over to Mike and Book, and they're chasing Discovery and Book's ship, and his fucking ship is like reconstructing, deconstructing, changing, and all these little shapes and shit. And then they end up doing. Oh, by the way, there's one more memorable scene in Star Trek V we forgot to talk about. Is when Sulu fucking goes on to the cargo bay in the shuttlecraft. That was a pretty cool scene, and they do one of those in this, and Michael Burnham flies into the shuttlecraft, destroying a ship in the process, pretty much. But he flies into the shuttlecraft with his ship. And Michael and Book try to go and save the rest of the Discovery crew. Roll the fucking credits. What do you think of that stop?
Great start, I think. What were they traveling through? I missed what they were traveling. I don't think it was Slipstream. They said it was the Courier's Corridor or something. It had some weird.
It's the entrance to Starfleet. Some sort of
No. What Book and Burnham was traveling through?
Yeah, I think that's some sort of special entrance to Starfleet. Some sort of spatial corridor into Starfleet. No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was some kind of like Courier's Corridor or something. It was something dangerous because it was like there was debris in there and there were destroyed ships in there. And
yeah, I mean, watching this twice, even the second time, it was hard to understand what the fuck was going on.
Well, it was a very fast-paced episode.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, there was a lot going on in this episode, and honestly, but then it had moments where it slowed down that we'll get into in a little bit. But in regarding these opening scenes and stuff like that, I really liked it. I felt the pace of the opening sequence. I felt the sense of urgency. There were definitely moments. I mean, it was kind of a tropey part in the beginning, a little bit, where it was like, okay, what's her face's ship is chasing them, and you figure by this time in the 31st or 30th century or 32nd century, whatever it is, you figure they would be able to scan the ship and see that there's an Orion on the bridge. And I know that they said that there's like a jammer or something like that, but I feel like there was a way around this, and not that it broke it for me, but later on I was thinking about it and I'm like, I feel like that they would have been able to see that there was an Orion on board, and they knew there wasn't an Orion. Well, there were Orions on board, but yeah. So I
Yeah,
mean,
but
yeah, there
it's
might
a
have been some
future
kind of
tech, isn't it? And he's a smuggler, and it's all about masking his identity because he does give Michael something a little bit later on, and I will get to that. So we're back on the ship now, and Asira obviously knows. When I say on the ship, I mean Discovery. Asira obviously knows that fucking Book's ship has crashed into the cargo bay, and she wants shit done about it, and she gets the cowboy to go get him. And then we meet Osira's greatest scientist of all fucking time. Now, I got this guy's name. His name is Kenneth Mitchell.
I thought it was Haley Joel Osment at first with the beard.
Now, this guy Kenneth Mitchell, he's actually played various Klingons in the past on Star Trek. Yeah, he has, and it was really good then to see him actually. I believe he's playing a human.
Yeah, I think he's a human married to an Orion.
To an Andorian.
Or Andorian, maybe, yeah.
I think you mistook Rin for an Orion, didn't you? Yeah, he's Andorian himself. Am I correcting you?
What?
Correctly? No, sorry, my bad.
No, I think he's human, but I think he's had children with either an Orion or an Andorian. I want to say it was Orion, but
okay. Well, look, we get to meet the greatest scientist of all time, and he's fascinated by the spore drive. It's ancient tech, but he also is interested in Stamets because he's obviously part of this tech. He makes the spore drive work, and whilst that's all going on, he's also listening to some Andorian opera. Now, Book, he gives a device to Michael, and it basically masks her life sign. So while she's on that ship, they can't find her. And because she's obviously a Discovery member, a crew member, she knows the ship better than Book does, which is why Book gave it to her. And then Michael basically then tells Book, you know what? I love you. And you know what Book says in return?
I know. Oh, no, wait.
Yeah, I was going to say that, you fucker. Yeah, I know.
No, she says this is probably the worst possible moment to tell you that I love you. And he's like, well, one of, yes. or something like that. I'm like,
that was his I know moment, which was pretty cool. What do you think of all of
that? Sure. Michael and Book. Yeah. Okay. I actually like these two better apart than together. I like Book when he's separate, like when he's not with Michael. I like him when he's, working with Saru, when he's working with his other Andorian friend, which I think his name is Ren, I think.
Rin.
Okay. Yeah. So, him working with Rin, I love Booker apart from Stevie Ray. I mean, Michael Burnham. So, it was fine. I'm trying to remember. Where did you get to again? You got which part of the episode?
Just very early in the episode. Michael basically tells Book, "I love you." Book basically tells Michael, "I love you." We also meet the scientist for the first time.
Yeah, and I mean I did enjoy the interactions between Stamets and this scientist guy because they seemed to be convincing one another at the same time, and I actually kind of liked it. I thought it was very interesting the way they went about it.
Okie dokie. Well, let's continue, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to be basically talking about a nice portion here of Michael Burnham, okay? But first of all, let me just quickly mention that the Admiral basically figures out Osira has a hijacked Discovery, but it's too late because they've already breached the area. Now, Michael, one of the first things she does after she separates from Book is that she fights some dude, puts him in the Hell's Gate, but whilst he's in the Hell's Gate, she gets stabbed by him into the fire. She takes it well, by the way. I love that scene. It was pretty cool. But what I found a bit stupid afterwards is that I really thought, don't do this. Please just don't do this. Don't take the fucking blade out. You guys know better. You're fucking supposed to be smarter than this. We're very much aware. I think we've been told for years that if you ever get stabbed, you don't take the fucking blade out. You keep it in there because more blood's going to fucking come out if you take the blade out, yeah? We saw that shit in Black Panther, for fuck's sake, with Killmonger after he gets stabbed. But nevertheless, she stupidly takes her blade out, but she does deal with it later on in the Jeffries tube. And while she's navigating around the Jeffries tube, she's also looking for Stamets. And we have a little bit. Sorry, I apologize.
I was going to jump in since you were looking over your notes, which honestly is probably the best course of action, is to get Stamets off the vessel, because, like, she was looking for him because he's the key to the spore drive. He's the key to Discovery getting away and Osira getting away. I mean, because, like, Discovery could just jump right out of Starfleet headquarters if it needs to escape, but without Stamets, they can't. And I mean, I'm sorry, but there's a bunch of 32nd century Starfleet vessels surrounding them, guns trained, and it's just like, no matter how retrofitted the Discovery is, it hasn't been that retrofitted that much where it's like going to be able to take on that many 32nd century. So this, believe it or not, I'm going to sing Michael Burnham's praises, or at least the writing staff, that this was a good plan. Her not worrying about Tilly, not worrying about finding Stamets first was the most important, probably number one priority of her mission, and that makes a lot of sense. Write it down on your calendars, boys.
No problems. So my notes are a little bit all over the place. Thank you very much for saving me there. Anyway, while she's in the we get a little bit of foreshadowing, in my opinion, because while she's in the Jeffries tube, Michael also sends out a distress signal to her mum, Gabrielle Burnham, and I just feel like, okay, Romulans and Vulcans to the fucking rescue. The fucking big end game scene's gonna happen.
Oh,
the
yeah,
big fucking Rise of Skywalker scene at the end is gonna happen.
That right there is the Hulk snapping his fingers with the nano gauntlet, and then and then we'll forget all about. Well, they think we'll forget all about it, and then the next episode they're all gonna warp it. Like, all of a sudden we're gonna get
no fucking dilithium. So how the fuck are they doing that? I just don't get it. So that was one thing I was thinking about.
Space physics, baby.
Now we get a nice little scene here, because some of Osira's thugs are in the Jeffries tubes trying to corner Michael Burnham. So she basically sets off a little explosive, which opens up the air vents and the airlocks and shit like that in the Jeffries tubes. And Michael Burnham's already tied her arm onto some of the piping in the tube, so she
pulled a twister with what's his face, Bill Paxton and Heather Graham.
Yeah. I was thinking there's so many other things as well. I'm thinking what do you call it? Aliens.
Yeah, I'll say Aliens is the one everyone goes to.
Yeah. So, but nevertheless, she gets flown out. She takes Michael's shoes with her. And then Michael goes all fucking John McClane in the fucking place. I mean, come on, did you think Die Hard?
Oh, yeah, I love Die Hard.
No, but did you think Die Hard the moment she lost her shoes and there she is stuck in the fucking...
Yep. I was waiting for her to step on some glass.
In the vent shaft and stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. But then she gets on there and she's talking to her. Osira's all gone Hans Gruber on her, and she's like telling her, yeah, I got you fucked over and shit like that. It was pretty cool. All
right. Have you gotten to like the big surprise of this episode though, or is that coming up?
The big surprise?
Like,
if I don't bring it up, then you bring it up, okay?
Okay. It's pretty big. It's pretty pivotal to this episode, but you've kind of passed it. But I mean,
I'm just talking about all what happened with Michael Burnham.
Oh, okay. Okay, we're not okay. You're doing all Michael right now. Okay.
Mostly Michael up to that particular point, but with her in the Jeffries tube, up to and all the shit she's done in the Jeffries tube, to her losing her shoes and leaving the Jeffries tube. Did you like all those moments with Michael? I mean, she's not your favorite character, of course.
No, I know, but actually, this was I actually, and as I said, I'm going to probably regret saying this, but I actually enjoyed Michael in this episode, even though she was the focal point, and that's one of the overarching problems with Discovery. I thought that this was actually pretty well done. She was on her own, doing her own thing, and then we'll get into this probably a little bit later, but other side characters had their own things going on, and they got just as much time as Michael Burnham did. So go ahead. I mean, we'll get to that eventually.
Okay, so we're going to go on to the next one of the other stories in this episode, and that was to do with the Admiral and Osira having their negotiations. The Admiral actually brings out his lie detector, who we didn't see until the early episodes of this season. And it's pretty cool because I forgot I'm not sure if we ever heard his name, but his name is Eli.
Yeah, I know. I laughed. I'm like, wait a minute.
That's really clever.
It is.
It's really clever. So
Well, and I love the look that Osiris gave him when he said that. She's like, really?
yeah,
I feel like that was the actual actress. Like she didn't know. I would say like they didn't. She didn't read that part of the script where it's like the name, and he said that, and I felt like that was genuine, like for real. Like
Anyway, keep going. Sorry.
so basically, Osara, and this is genuinely from Osara, and this is one of the best. This is a really good episode because we got to see a little bit more to who Osira is. She wasn't just a one-note villain here, and it was proven by her demands with the lie detector that she pretty much wants to merge things. She wants to bring business and capitalism to the galaxy, and she understands that the Federation would be probably best off doing this because since the burn, there's been elements of the Federation all over the universe who have had to resort to capitalism, to selling shit, to bartering in order to survive.
Because everything's not available anymore, especially dilithium.
Exactly.
Because I mean, I think that one of the main premises of Star Trek is there is no need and no want because because replicators are everywhere. But here's the thing: I'm pretty sure you need dilithium crystals to power your ships enough to do replicators. If you don't have dilithium, you have energy shortages, and replicators probably take a lot of energy.
Yeah, I guess so. We find out regarding replicators and stuff like that because
beautiful segue.
Yeah, because during the course of their negotiations, they're eating some fruit and stuff like that, and the Admiral, Osara basically mentions that it's funny how this is an apple, even though it's not really an apple, and the Admiral mentioned that he's never even eaten an apple, but he also then told Osara that what you're eating is shit. I loved it. Not excrement, not manure, not dung. He just straight up went for the slang insulty word shit, and they have no choice but to do that. And you can imagine in the future that they're able to reprocess their shit and turn it back into food again. I can imagine that. And one day hopefully our future will be like that. I mean, it's not like our shit's not already used in creating. Our shit is fertilizer anyway, so it's kind of like that anyway. So don't be too disgusted by it, people.
That's that Dr. Gillian Taylor from Star Trek 4 coming back to haunt us because she brought cursing to the 24th century.
Now, what's Osira's offering is actually kind of appealing to the Admiral because she wants to abolish slavery, and Eli said that she's telling the truth. So this is obviously garnered interest by the Admiral. But negotiations comes to a halt because at the end of the day, regardless of Osira's good intentions, she's still a war criminal.
And I knew that was going to be the sticking point. Like as we were going on, I'm like, she's gonna have to pay for her crimes though, and I think that's going to be the sticking point.
Exactly, and that was really cool. And the Admiral actually, was begging and was pleading with her. Listen, in order for all of this to work and to be considered to be legit, you have to, atone for your crimes. But she doesn't want to fucking hear that, does she? She doesn't want to fucking hear that at all. She ends up leaving the negotiations, and she goes back to Discovery. And then when she goes back to Discovery, she shows the scientist dude there's more to herself than what the scientist sees. And then she kills Rin, who stood up to her.
Yeah.
Tilly's husband. She kills him. What do you think of all of that? The whole negotiations between.
Oh God,
I loved it.
I loved it too. That was very. That was very surprising because I really thought that this episode was just going to be like Fast and Furious Star Trek Discovery, and like we're going to be running around. And as I said, it was good in the opening segment, but once they slowed it down for the negotiations, I was really on board. And I'm like, and you know what, it makes sense. I didn't realize Jonathan Frakes directed this episode going in, but now that you say that, that makes a lot of sense because he knows what Trek fans want. We don't mind action, but we want those deep, not deep, but like those philosophical moments.
He just delivered everything. When it comes to Star Trek, he is the fucking Jon Favreau of Star Trek.
Yeah.
He really is. Like, you know, after Roddenberry, it's him. After fucking everyone goes on about Filoni more, but for me, it's Jon Favreau. Because Filoni is more inclined with his fucking prequel characters. But everything was written pretty much those Mandalorian episodes by Favreau. And regarding Star Trek, I don't want to go too much on tangent on Star Wars. But regarding Star Trek, you know, Jonathan Frakes is the same. I knew everything he touches regarding Star Trek turns to gold. You know, he's the best thing for Star Trek, and he should always be. He should be the fucking Kathleen Kennedy of fucking Star Trek. He's that level of caliber when it comes to what he offers.
I 100,000% agree. I love Jonathan Frakes. Anything he's directed. I mean, look at. I mean, he directed what? He directed First Contact. Did he direct Insurrection? I don't
Probably, but everyone's allowed to flop nowadays.
Yeah, right.
You know, who's 100% plain sailing? Nobody. But whether he did or he didn't, it was. It's not. It's just overall, he's just the right guy, isn't he?
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with you. Jonathan Frakes is definitely the Jon Favreau, and he should be the Kevin Feige of Star Trek. Like everything, honestly, in my opinion, everything should have to go through Frakes that is going to be touched by Trek. Like he doesn't have to direct everything, but like anything that goes through Trek and this new universe not new universe, but this new material that they're constructing should go through Jonathan Frakes. I'm saying it here now. You put a ball cap on that guy and call him Frakes Feige. There you go. That's what his title is.
I agree, mate. So let's go back a little bit now. We're gonna go back a little bit. I mentioned the scientist very briefly at the end of this little segment because we get to see the scientist initially earlier on, and once Stamets wakes up, we have a little discussion, a little chat between, scientist to scientist, and we find out that the scientist, Osiris person, he's very much an admirer of Osira, you know, like for what she's done for him and some of the stuff that he created. But Stamets does throw it back at him and basically, first of all, points out that he is actually held hostage, but he's trying to explain to him, you know, you can see the greater good. There is a greater good here. And then when he mentions the accomplishments that they've created under Osira, Stamets basically tells him those accomplishments basically, you know, put a whole civilization into famine. Those accomplishments almost got my friend into slave labor. You know, those accomplishments are currently getting me kept as hostage. And he also mentions things like Hugh, and he wants to get Hugh back and stuff like that. And eventually, Michael comes in and saves the day, John McClane style, breaks Stamets out, stuns everyone else, because obviously she would, even though those people are fucking, you know, are killers and murderers, but she stuns them nevertheless. But Stamets has got his own agenda now. He wants to save Hugh and he wants to save Adira when he finds out Adira is on there, and he considers Adira already to be his daughter, which is kind of weird. It's a bit soon for that, in my opinion.
I agree with you on that. I thought that was a bit much. I mean, maybe in the season finale, after everything's said and done, you know, maybe they kind of do like a verbal adoption or something like that. But it kind of came out of nowhere for me as well. I agree with you.
The Vulcan upbringing in Michael means that this can't happen because, you know, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And there's a whole bunch of people who need to be saved right now. And unfortunately, Saru and Hugh are not the top, and even Adira are no longer top priority. So Stamets doesn't want to hear this though, so Michael has to nerve pinch him, and then when he wakes up, he finds himself in this little bubble, and Michael basically tells him, look, as long as if they don't have you, they don't have the spore drive. But Stamets wants to save Hugh and Adira and tells Michael, we left our lives for you. We came here to save you, to keep you company. We gave up everything for you. But Michael's not going to get emotionally blackmailed. Detonates her phaser. Stamets gets sucked out the window and then gets immediately tracked to beam into Starfleet. And then Cowboy takes Michael hostage. What do you think of the Stamets scenes up to him being jettisoned out?
I'm very in between on this part, only because it was great. It was great.
Fantastic.
It was watching Michael and Stamets go back and forth. I felt like Stamets was a little bit whiny, but I felt like this was, and I mean, as I said, I'm giving credit where credit is due in this episode. Michael Burnham was used very well in this episode. This part where she was basically doing the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. I am sorry. Everything is in that nebula for you. But the only thing I didn't like is that we're at this point again where Hugh may die again. And it's like, I get the whole trauma for Stamets where he's like, I can't lose him again. But it's like we've kind of done, it's like, oh God, here we go again. Like, Stamets is going to lose Hugh again. And
all of this has been done in a short space of time. I don't think it's been done in a long period of time. So I do think we're going to save Hugh. I just can't see him dying again. I just can't see it.
And I feel like Hugh's not going to die again. I mean, I don't think Saru's going to die. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. I know you said that last week.
I think he's going to die.
I hope not. If he does, I'm going to hate it because that means that Michael's going to be the captain.
I'll be honestly, I'm not so sure as I was last week because Saru and Hugh were not at all in this episode.
Yeah, they were completely out of this episode.
So I'm not as hungry. If we got something more fleshed out from them, but considering we got nothing from them, I'm not so sure now, to tell you the truth. I'm a bit hazy with my opinion on that. I could be wrong. So the other plot in this was Tilly and the gang, because Tilly and the gang, they end up breaking up because first of all they're doing these little tap 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 tap,
Morse code, baby.
Yeah, baby. Doing some of that. God damn it, leave me alone. Always fucking beeping me when I'm doing shit. I go my volume down and somehow the beeps still get through. So basically I knew what they were doing. I mean, it's the classic trope of have an argument amongst yourselves and then they try to fuck off. Seriously, fuck off.
Turn your volume down, dude.
It's down, dude.
No, it's not. It's not. Turn it off. Turn the volume.
Got so many goddamn volumes. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So I've lost my train of thought.
So they use the trope of everybody gets into an argument and says it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. Oh, we just beat the crap out of the bad guys holding us because we got in an argument.
Yeah,
I thought it would have been just hilarious if, like, as soon as they started arguing, they like stunned everybody. Like, I mean, I was okay with the way this went down, but I just thought it would have been more hilarious if, like, as soon as they started to argue or whatever, he like stuns all of them, like with a big wide beam or something like that, and he says, "I said no talking." Like, and their plan just went like, to shit right then and there.
We followed them. It felt like. It felt really like it almost felt like a kid's show, like the gangs breaking out and stuff like that. And they get it back from the adults and stuff like that. But nevertheless, they get some weapons, and Tilly starts acting really badass.
Yeah, I really liked her. I liked a lot of stuff in this episode.
She's very much a leader in this. Like when they get all the weapons and stuff. She tells like the rest of the crew, listen, we're going for the bridge. And if any of us fall, we don't stop. we keep going until we get that bridge. And I like that. It's like, make sure your mind's on the mission, and don't no sentiment here. And that was pretty cool. And just before they get going, we end up seeing Huey, Dewey, and fucking Louie. Yeah, the 3 robots with their red, blue, and yellow eyes, because that's the first thing I thought of when I fucking saw that shit. I'm not sure if you fucking thought of that.
No. I didn't think that until you just said it.
And didn't you see their eyes? That they're all like, one was red, one was blue, one was yellow.
No, I didn't notice that. Oh
my god, man! How did you not notice that? It was so obvious. Anyway, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw them, because of their colored eyes, just to differentiate between the 3 robots.
Well, one's science, one's an engineer, and one's command. So,
nevertheless, those 3 robots represented the sphere data, which is what I immediately assumed. Did you?
I feel like this is also another thing that's kind of out of nowhere. And I feel like that if the season was longer, and not that the season needs to be longer, but if the season was longer, they could have fleshed out the sphere data a little bit more, made it a little like the sphere data stuff. Like, it showed up one episode giving Saru some suggestions on how to bring the crew together. And then I don't think we really had any other sphere data moments until now, like actual sphere data moments until now. Like, we've had mention of it, but we haven't like had any interaction with the crew until now. So it's like, I feel like there should have been an episode with the sphere data, like, like the ship gets disabled, but the sphere data is the only thing that's around, and maybe like one other crew member, and then the sphere data and the crew members trying to fix the ship. Oh, it could have been Book. Maybe Book shows up because he was checking on Discovery, and the sphere data is the only thing active, and it's yada yada so forth. But
I think we'll probably find out more about it in season 4. Because honestly, I mean, people say the Burn's been put on the back burner, but I personally think sphere data's been put on it big time, because I don't know what the fuck it is to a degree at this moment in time. Because is it part of the ship? Is it not part of the ship? 1 minute it's inside the ship, now it's these 3 fucking robots. I thought it was an individual thing. Is it able to split its consciousness between 3?
Well, I feel like it's like the Doctor, like it can download itself into certain things, and I think that's why it had to download itself into 3 of those robots, because the sphere data is so massive that it has to be downloaded into three things.
But it was able to shrink its size as data when they checked earlier on. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, nevertheless, they tell Tilly, "Yeah, we're gonna take back that ship," and Tilly's like all defiant. "Yeah, we're gonna take back that ship," and the episode ends.
Did you notice that the one chick's hair changed colors? It went from blonde to like brown in this episode.
I missed that because
you're looking at important things. I'm looking at chick's hair color. So
you want to basically I think we kind of mentioned as much as of that particular part of the episode, but I want to say in particular regarding season 3, I think this season started really well. And maybe barring this episode, I think, and maybe one or two in the middle, I think it's been declining overall compared to the beginning. I think it started off really well, but it's gone downhill. A couple of stupid episodes which offered nothing, and it felt very it felt like repeats of the previous episode, and like the way, I mean, how can you make a mirror universe episode crap? I mean, you make the first one good and you make the second one crap. It's just like, how is that possible? I mean, mirror universe episodes are some of the best episodes in fucking Star Trek. Yeah, they made that one crap. God damn it. So I'm kind of thinking that this season, I mean, I'm glad this episode was really good because it got things back on track again. But nevertheless, I do think this season has declined from the quality we got a lot earlier on. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, do I feel like the later episodes have been as good or better than the early episodes? No, I agree with you. The first 4 episodes were probably some of the best Trek I've seen in a long time, and that is including Lower Decks. I'm not saying Lower Decks was bad by any stretch, but these 4 episodes were definitely a better Trek than some of the Trek we've seen. Definitely better than Picard. Although I feel Picard is something completely different than anything else that we've had in Trek. And yeah, Lower Decks, like Lower Decks had some really good episodes, really hilarious episodes, but I feel like this episode redeems a lot of that. And I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna give this one a 9 out of 10. I really loved it. I'd almost give it a 10 out of 10. Not even gonna lie.
I'll give it between 7 and 8.
Oh, please give it an 8. This was a good episode. I know you, and you know that this is an 8. At least.
Yeah, all right, fine. It's a good episode. I'll give it an 8.
God. So people are so hard. Like, that's what I don't understand. People are so hard to, like, give it something
what it is with me is, like, my negatives is like, for fuck's sake, this guy, man.
The negatives are your chat. That's about it. So.
God, I can't be asked with these options. Anyways, negatives is like no real. I know we understand what made the burn, but we got to fit a lot in this final episode, so it better be like an hour and a half long.
Yeah, but we're talking about this episode. We're not talking about what's coming up in the next episode.
No, but my point is that I don't think we got any more resolution on the burn on this episode, and I feel there's more resolution. It needs to be. I don't know. I really feel like that it's there and it's not. You know, and that's one of my problems with this fucking season. Like,
I really feel like they should have.
Focus of everything is all over the place.
I agree. I feel like they've got too many main plot threads going on. They've got the burn, they've got the sphere data, which I mean is definitely on the back burner at this point. And they've also got the restoring the Federation. Like, they've got a lot of major plot threads going in this season. And I think that's one of the only complaints I really have about this season is that they definitely have more plot threads. Like, they needed to have one main plot thread. And I feel like that should have been bringing back the Federation, establishing the Federation as at least on the path to what it used to be. And then, and dealing with, and then of course you got the Emerald Chain as well. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of these things, there's so many major plot things. The Federation and the Emerald Chain have kind of merged together a little bit, but
this character's missing again. Where's that short-haired female engineer?
She was in the beginning, I think.
Was she?
No, maybe not. Maybe that was last episode. That might have
she just disappeared again. You know what I mean? Like, and she's been disappearing most of this fucking season.
Yeah,
it's just like stuff like this is really jarring.
Well, I mean, maybe she's more moving into a role like what's her face from Voyager, Samantha Wildman. Like, she's in a couple episodes. She's there. She's a part of the science staff or engineering staff. I hope eventually we do get more designations between science staff and engineering staff, and we get a way to kind of tell, because I can never tell who the hell is what. Like, who's science, who's engineer, who's uniform. Huh?
They're all pretty much wearing the same uniform, aren't they?
Yeah, there's just a small tint to the little things under their arms and on their sleeves, and it's terrible. I hate these uniforms. They are terrible uniforms. Anyway, sorry, that's a video for another day.
Okay, fair enough. So, unfortunately, this ride will be coming to an end soon, because this is the penultimate episode of the season. It all culminates next week. And as I said earlier, so far, I think things have gotten downhill, but this was a good episode. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I guess this is a three-parter, considering how last week's finished. It does feel the culmination or something more is going to be coming, but it did feel like a cliffhanger ending once again. So we've got more to come, and it'll be interesting to see how they deal with Osira, and it'll be interesting to see if they rescue Michael. I mean, Adira is not going to die, for fuck's sake, but she hasn't been on that planet on that ship as long as those two have. So, but that has to be resolved. The Kelpian man-child needs to be resolved. Somebody needs to probably die. I hope it's not Admiral Vance.
I really thought Admiral Vance was going to die in this episode. When I saw Osira and Admiral Vance like face to face on that little walkway or whatever, like I thought they were taking over Starfleet headquarters, and like they were, Admiral Vance was being brought to stand before.
He was
Osira.
badass in this episode, by the way.
Who?
Admiral Vance. He was MVP fucking P of this episode. He was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's becoming, God. Yeah, this is what worries me with Discovery. They do get rid of people who are really popular. They got rid of Lorca, they got rid of Pike, and now I wouldn't be surprised if they get rid of Saru or Admiral Vance.
God, they better not get rid of Saru. I just bought my
Philippa. Got rid of Philippa, man. I like Philippa, whether you liked her or not. I like. We
I like
Michelle
Philippa.
Yeoh. I mean, you have Michelle Yeoh in your fucking team, in your cast. You're in a good place. And
what if they did like a Harrison Wells type thing, where you had like a different Michelle Yeoh character every season?
No, but do you think maybe getting rid of Philippa was the big thing of the season?
I hope so, only because there's potential for her to come back. I don't want them to kill her.
No, I do not want her to ever come back to Discovery.
Really?
I really do not want that to ever happen.
Okay.
When Michael said that she would never come back, just stick to your word for once in your life. Just stick to your word and don't ever have her come back. I just, I think that it'll be, I think for once it'll be good for them not having to go back to tropes and having to rely on shit from the past to further stories in the future all the time. It's nice to do it now and again, but let's just bury this one once and for all and move on from it. And then it has more meaning. When Philippa goes, she is gone. And it's good. It'll be good for sometimes for people not to come back. That's how I feel.
Okay. I mean, I'm open to it, but I understand what you're saying. Like, stick to your guns, make death stick, but she's not dead. Like, I could understand if she died, and then then us being
well, the rumor is that she's gone back in time. Yeah,
she's gone back in time to the mirror universe.
Well, the Terran universe. No, she hasn't. She's gone back in time to a period where the Terran universe and the mirror universe were mostly in line, so she won't phase out like a fucking bitch.
Yeah, but she's still in the mirror universe. I thought that's where she went.
No. I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
Okay, well, it might be. I'm not 100%, so you might be right.
So for argument's sake, so she's gone back in time, so she's dead because she's gone back in time.
Yeah. Well, and then that makes a lot of sense if they're going to do a Section 31 show with her in it in the Prime universe, which I want a Section 31 movie, but I want it in present time.
Movie?
Like Picard.
You want a movie?
No, not a movie. I don't want a movie. I'd rather.
You said that, so just.
Oh, did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
A series. Sorry, a Section 31 series.
Do you think there's a place for Star Trek movies? Now you mention it, or do you think it's just television shows? This is the best place for it.
I think this is where it needs to be right now. I do not think that going into the movies is the best for Trek right now. I feel like streaming. Now, if they want to do made for streaming movies, like if they're like, okay, we're going to give this it's going to be a movie, but it's going to have a bigger budget than the TV show. It's going to be 2 hours long, but it's, it's got kind of, it's going to be like, the MCU where it's like, like the Daily Plus or Daily Plus. Oh God. The Disney Plus stuff where it's like, okay, this is going to be a movie, but it's just for streaming, but it's got a bigger budget. But this is like going to be the next movie in Star Trek. Like this is going to be the 14th, I think it's 14th movie in the Star Trek line, like officially. I wouldn't mind them doing that, but I think Star Trek needs to stay out of the movies for right now, only because they're doing very well with series. And
regarding series, they really need to take a leaf out of what Disney's doing right now, because for a start, there is like 60 years of foundations being built, regarding Star Trek. So you got foundations galore. You could build your own series universe if they just were willing to put the budget into it. Obviously, it costs lots of fucking money to do shit like this. But with crossovers and stuff like that, I mean, we've had it already with the 3 series in the TNG universe. They've all crossed over at some point, as well as other crossovers in other shows. So if they try to simultaneously make a few shows, like they've done with CW and stuff like that, and have the little crossover and stuff like that, big Borg fight, something like that, there's something there, I swear. There really is. I don't know if that appeals to you or not.
I'm sorry. I was kind of looking at I was trying to figure out if Philippa went back to the Prime or the Mirror Universe.
No problem. Okay, want me to repeat myself?
Just paraphrase. Yeah, that's fine.
Would you like to see some sort of crossover series, like universe? Like we've already got it in Star Trek anyway. But the point is, I have maybe 3 or 4 shows running.
You're talking about within the Star Trek universe, or you're talking about
like it's almost like having like they have in Disney and MCU, or the MCU and what Disney's trying to do now.
Honestly, that's kind of why I was hoping that Discovery wouldn't go so far in the future. They would just go to Picard time, because then we could have some crossover between Discovery and Picard. And maybe even some lower decks characters. I know it's still a good 20 years off, but maybe we could see an older, like a captain. What's his face? Gosh, why can't I remember their names already? I already lost their names. A captain. What's the dude's name?
Oh gosh, is it Freeman?
No, Freeman's the lady. Which we could have a Captain Freeman, but
Latimer.
No, the guy. What was
I forgot his name.
Yeah, but that guy, we could have a captain, you could have what's his face come on, maybe age him up a bit. And who's the actor who played from The Boys? Who's the actor who plays his voice
from The Boys?
Yeah.
Oh, Jack
Quaid.
Jack Quaid.
Yeah, age up Jack Quaid a little bit, and you could have, you could have a crossover. You could have Jack Quaid show up in this big crossover episode and with Discovery if Discovery was in that timeline. I was hoping that's where it would go, but when they went in the future, they went way past, which is still fine. But I was kind of hoping then Discovery and Picard and all that would be in the same time era, so we could have some crossover. I wouldn't mind it, but you'd have to have some stupid shenanigans for that. And then even with the Pike series now is taking place way back in the TOS era. So you're not going to have much of a...
See, that's the crazy thing. You got all these different shows.
And they're all in different
timelines. All in different fucking timelines. It's crazy. It is... Oh, God, I really think they missed the trick. I mean, it's good and it's... I don't know. I don't want to say it's bad. Yeah, but if something like Picard in one episode somehow ended up seeing Pike... Yeah, I'd say that would be like the worst fan service and just doing it for the sake of doing it because they're both filming at the same fucking time. And I wouldn't like shit like that, That wouldn't work for me. Because why the fuck would Pike and Picard meet? Why? I mean, the way Picard is filmed, what the sort of show it is, which I don't like, by the way, would make no sense for something like that to happen, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So it's funny. How many views have we got?
Right now we're sitting at 6, but if anyone in the chat has got any questions or topics.
I had a brief look earlier, yeah. And
if anyone has anything they want to bring up, if there's 6 people watching, also, if you guys haven't, please comment, or I'm sorry, please like this video. We can always use the support. We're a small channel. So far, it looks like we've only got 2 likes and there's 6 people. So if you guys have like a millisecond, just please click that like button, or as my son says, smash that like button. Anyway, sorry, that's my shameless self-promotion there.
No problem. You got anything more to say, Bob? Because I think I pretty much...
Nope, unless someone brings something up in the chat, I'm pretty much good too. It was to me it was an excellent episode, probably one of the better ones of the season. I would say it's right up there with episode 2 and episode 4, I believe.
Episode 3 was really good when they went to Earth.
Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of 2 and 3.
Episode 3 was really... The trill was good, but the episode 3 When they went to Earth and they made that little peace treaty with Earth and Titan, and
Yeah,
it
that
just
was.
felt
I
very
mean,
Trek-like, and it still at the same time it worked well in the course of the episode, so it killed
but
two birds.
yeah, but I would definitely put this up. Episode 1 was good, but I didn't like it as much as I like 2 and 3. So 8 people in the chat, hit that like button, guys. If you know, or give us a topic where we can talk for probably about 10 more minutes, as long as Am can keep his eyes open.
Yeah, I'm trying my best. Happy New Year, by the way, everyone who's watching. Please give us a like. Bunch of Trek fans here, bunch of sci-fi fans in general. We love talking about all the latest stuff that's come out, which is nerdified, whether it be Star Wars, Star Trek, MCU, DC, and everything in between. We do love it. Cobra Kai is going to be coming out soon, and I think it's coming out January the 1st. So it's out today, isn't it?
Yeah, January the
Believe.
1st is today. Well,
Yeah,
tomorrow
it's
for
today.
me, because you're from the future.
Exactly. How long until? Oh, you've got just under 4 hours.
Yep, just under 4 hours now.
And then you can join me in 2021, where everything has changed, even though it hasn't.
Actually, I think everything has changed for you. Your camera is looking a little bit clearer. Your light, your brightness is looking a little bit brighter.
Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. So, after Discovery is ended next week, what will be the next bit of Trek?
I don't know. They haven't said anything but they haven't said release dates for anything. I think we're going to kind of go into the lull of what hasn't, like, because, you know, we're going to start hitting a lull here with a lot of things because a lot of stuff hasn't been filmed since the pandemic started. Discovery was finished, or at least was done filming a long time ago. I mean, Lower Decks might be easier to do because they can record from home and they can do the animations from home studios and stuff like that. So I mean, but I think we're going to kind of hit a lull since Strange New Worlds hasn't, at least I don't think it's started filming. And if it has, it's just started filming in the past month or so. And I mean, Picard season 2, I think starts filming next month. So there's really not much for Trek lined up because of the pandemic.
I just want to mention something regarding Picard. There's rumors that there was apparently there's been a recasting of Patrick Stewart for Picard. Do you hear about those rumors?
No.
But because
then don't do it.
Sorry, yeah, exactly. But at the same time, some people are saying that in Picard season 1 they missed a massive trick.
They could have replaced him at the end.
They could have replaced him at the end and recasted him with a different actor.
And I mean, they could have done a whole X-Men 3 thing.
Mate, you know who they could have got in to replace him?
James McAvoy.
No.
Come on.
No.
That would have been perfect.
No. What would be perfect?
Oh, don't say Tom Hardy.
It's Tom Hardy.
Oh, God. Don't say Tom Hardy.
Well, he has been in the Star Trek universe. This is not the fucking MCU or whatever, the Fox version.
Yeah, but Tom Hardy's expensive.
Mate, it's Star Trek, man. This Star Trek put him on the map.
Yeah, and they also put him on a drunken bender as well.
Mate, he's still it's still, you know, gave him a shot in Hollywood, and I think he should come back. And Tom Hardy now coming back to Star Trek is gold. It's money. It's money, mate. It's fucking money.
No. James McAvoy. I want James McAvoy as the new Jean-Luc Picard in the new body. I'm telling you.
Well, unfortunately,
they cannot recast Patrick Stewart for that.
Unfortunately, it's not happening. But Patrick Stewart is 80 years old. It's like Indiana Jones. Like Harrison Ford's going to be knocking 80. I think he's like 79 when he'll be making Indiana Jones 5. They haven't even started making that film yet. You know what I mean?
And I agree with you. I agree with you that Patrick Stewart kind of needs to hang it up. I was hoping that this Picard thing was going to be just a 1-season thing, and yeah, that he died at the end, and that was it. I mean, if they want to spin it off into another series with different additional characters and not call it Picard, I'm okay with that. But like,
no, I'm glad he didn't die, because I personally, yeah, I just think Star Trek are not very good at killing off big characters. They're really bad at it. They really are bad at it. So I think the only one they did good was Tasha Yar. You know what I mean? Other than that, the rest was shit. I mean, that just came out of nowhere, which is why I love deaths like that. You know, like you just don't see it happening. There's no build up to the person being killed. It just, especially when it's a big character. Have you ever seen the Departed?
No,
It's
not
just
that
like
I remember.
just Leonardo DiCaprio's character when he just walks out of an elevator. You think he's won, and he just walks out of an elevator and he gets shot in the head, and he's just instantly dead, and you've been following this character the whole time, and you just don't see.
Well, that's like G.I. Joe, the second one. I mean, Duke dies in like the first 5 minutes of the film.
No, but he walks in front of a. Oh yeah. Duke dies. Yeah, you don't see that happening. Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking of the cartoon. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely right. You don't see that coming. I love that shit. Because especially when it's big characters. What's his name? James Franco died in that shitty Aliens movie. I mean, like 5 minutes in.
What shitty Aliens movie?
Alien Covenant. I can't say it properly.
What?
Alien the sequel to
Covenant?
Yeah, that one.
James McAvoy was in that?
Yeah. Not James McAvoy, James Franco.
Oh, I got James McAvoy on the brain now.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that movie, so I was like, oh, James Franco died like 5 minutes in.
He gets burnt alive in his fucking sleeping tank thing, which they all sleep in. You know, he gets burnt alive in that.
They're like, look, we'll let you smoke as much weed as you want on set. You just do this one scene for us. And James Franco's like, I love pie.
Danny McBride's in it as well. And he's doing a serious role. I love seeing that. I love seeing comedic actors doing serious roles. And I love sometimes seeing serious actors doing comedic roles.
Yeah.
You ever seen Aeroplane?
Like the 80s Aeroplane?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. When they made that movie, all those actors were all like serious drama actors, which is why it was so funny, because they wanted them to play it for like deadpan serious. Like Leslie Nielsen never did comedy before Aeroplane. You know, he was known as a serious actor. Then he did Aeroplane, and it was comedy for pretty much for the rest of his career.
I was about to say he was comedy the rest of his career at that point.
Yeah, it was comedy for the rest of his career. So like, he did The Naked Gun, and he Frank Drebin for life. Yeah. So, anyways, I think we're done. We're just yabbering on.
Yeah. Well, I was hoping somebody in the chat would come in, but we got 6 people. Looks like we got 2 likes. So if you guys can, before you leave, please hit that like button. It helps with the analytics. We're a small channel. We're trying to go into 2021 and, just a huge uptake in, the more you guys give, the more support you guys give us in views and likes, the more we feel good about doing this. Not going to lie. So not that we're begging for it, but it's just like, it helps. It helps our fragile egos.
Yes, it does. Great. Well, I've had a lovely time talking to you all. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day and have a happy new year. And don't forget to live long and prosper. And before I do actually sign up for real, don't forget to look for our Discord. Don't forget to look for our Facebook pages. We're called Nerd Nation. Many other people are called Nerd Nation. But if you see our logo on YouTube and you see our logo on those other sites, then you know it's us. So subscribe to us, sign up to us, join us, be part of our group, and expand with us. And if we do get big, you are there to start it off. Anything else to say, Bob?
Don't forget to check out our fan film commentary that came up yesterday. It's called, or fan film reaction called Bad Pilots. It's actually a really funny fan film that a lot of us really enjoyed. So you guys should check it out and laugh along with us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Well, once again, thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day. Have a happy new year and live long.